Hey everybody, Shane from Greenstone Services. There's two new threats that have come out that you guys might want to know about. One of them is Spectre, and one of them is Meltdown. What do those two guys do? That's the whole point of this video. We're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to take you on the rest of my day. Let's talk about Spectre and Meltdown. Both of them together, both of them are being presented together in the news, but they're not a combo piece of malware as of yet. You gonna stay up this time? Okay, so here we are on our way to deliver those computers, and let's talk about Spectre while we've got a chance. Spectre is a piece of malware, and Meltdown is a piece of malware, and the two of them are not the same. They're not bundled together yet either. Yet being the operative word. One of them targets your CPU and the way that it executes programming to cause data leaks. The other one targets the memory. Meltdown's the one that goes after the memory. Spectre, on the other hand, it sets inside the CPU for what it wants to do. Now, both of them actually reside inside the CPU and take advantage of a technology that has made processors so much quicker these days than what they used to be. And it has to do with the way that a CPU will move data between itself, the memory, and the hard drive, trying to do predictive type algorithms on what is going to happen within a program next, so that it can already have the functions done. So whenever you click on something or hit a button, it already knows what you're going to do. I think that the original papers were released by Google employees, and don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying it. I'm not saying that was a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. But the bad part of it is this: the media, whenever they get a hold of a story like this, they blow it out of proportion. It's like the little boy that called wolf. But it's up to us, the end user, and the end client, and IT professionals to make sure that the patches that need to be on there are taken care of. It's kind of like the WannaCry thing. I already had all the machines that I'm responsible for patched for that 2.5 months before that was released, because I knew it was coming. But did I want to worry my customers with it and make them think that, it's the end of the world? No, I did not. Spectre will actually be a monster if it gets released into cloud type infrastructure. The main point of the virus or malware is to take information such as any kind of usernames or passwords or etc. from your computer and send it home to whomever it is, be it Peggy or her brother Francis, as I will call him now, those being the operative bad guys. Then your personal safety on the digital world as it is, of course, is at risk. What do? It's not a big thing at all, really. Just visit with your manufacturer. Like if it's an Apple, they're going to have patches. They had a press release where they said, all of our stuff is vulnerable to this, but we're on it. Since it's not actually been released into the wild yet, why have such the big hoorah about it, as it were? I think that sometimes the news people just don't really understand IT. They feel responsibility to try to make things well known, and hooray for that. But let's do a little bit of digging before we cause sensationalism and panic. It's a responsible thing to do. Now, Microsoft, they released a bunch of patches for server operating systems that would be affected by this. So back around to what do? Merge complete. But this is a vulnerability that has been found in CPU architecture and the way that it handles passing that big data back and forth in between itself, the hard drive, and your memory as you're doing stuff. And it's going to get patched. Microsoft, Apple, Linux, they all have one thing in common, and it's called a kernel. And there's two types of security. You've got software security and you've got hardware security. And sometimes, whenever the hardware security is a little bit lax, we can fix that with the software security. And that's what's happening right now. And now the news media has gotten a hold of it, and it sounds like end of the world Armageddon, which it's not. So everybody that's watching, spread this around so that other people that might be, people will see that it's not such a big thing. This sort of a thing happens a lot. It's just part of the nature of IT and infrastructure. And whenever we find things like that, then we notify appropriate people, and then they do their own research, much like a scientist, being a blind or double-blind study, just in a different way for computers. And then we do what we can to fix it. And if it can't be fixed, then we fix it anyway. Because eventually there is a way to fix almost anything with a PC. Or through firmware upgrades or whatever. There's always a way to get that kind of a thing taken care of. Don't panic. The ultimate answer is indeed 42, from my understanding. And I can't wait to get back to the office so I can get me some fresh coffee. Alright, so we made it. Now, I can't take you guys inside here because it's a customer. No. But let's see what we can get into with photography after I get this done, huh? Awesome. And that makes 2. And you make 3. Awesome. Let's head back to the office, shall we? And we're back. Hopefully all that information did something for you, or well, at least put your mind at rest. That's the best advice that can be given, and I hope that you guys have a great day. Now, if you saw something that was informative in here, make sure that you gently massage on that subscribe button. I won't tell anybody, I promise. Hit that like and share, because sharing is caring after all. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and until next time, this has been Shane with Greenstone Services.